The Lord Jesus Christ be praised.
Forever and ever.
I'm Henry. I've got pressing news for Lord Ruthard. Take me to him. He's expecting me.
Ah, Henry. Yes, yes. Sir Kунцлин mentioned you. I'll let you in. Shimek will take you to the Lord. I hope you'll find the time to listen to what you have for him. You're not the first to come to him today, see?
Well, we're here, but you'll have to wait a while. As you can see, Lord Ruthard has an important visitor, and it seems they haven't finished yet.
I understand.
And what now, Martin? Did you speak to Jerome Naz? Will he support us?
He won't. He lent a lot of coin to Sigismund, and now he's stuck with him.
Sakra.
He's scared. As soon as he does anything to upset him, Sigismund will denounce him as a rebel and right off the dead.
Damn it! Has all his counting groschen not left room for a grain of common sense in that head of his?
Jerome is a vain man. I'm sure he's pleased when the Hungarian king himself listens to him. He was boasting that he'll be in charge of some church talks in the Italian court. There's no way we'll change his mind.
But you've been to see other councillors too, haven't you? Have you any good news from anyone?
Unfortunately not. Some of them are beholden to Sigismund for their office, and some are worried about ending up, forgive me, friends, like you and Peter of Pisek.
Christ above! That's exactly what Sigismund wants. To divide us, to paralyze us with fear.
Divide et impera. God knows, that ginger fox is a master of dividing and conquering.
You are absolutely correct, my lady. Especially when everyone can see your problems. I've heard that Mintmaster Vavak is still putting pressure on you.
The devil take that bastard! He had the gall to blackmail me in my own home.
Gentlemen, and my lady, sorry to interrupt, but I have some new tidings about our Mint Master. I've heard about his crimes against the crown, and it's no trivial pilfering.
Are you sure the accusations are true?
I've got proof of everything.
Ha! God bless you, lad. Finally, some good news.
It seems that this young man came to brighten my day. Who do I have the honor of addressing?
Martin, this is Henry, our ally from Liechtenstein. Henry, this is Sir Martin Oderin, Lord of Rabosh, a loyal supporter of King Wenceslas, as no doubt you've already deduced.
Sir, my friend Godwin gave me a ring for you. He said you'd help me if I needed it.
Godwin? Really? Well, you choose peculiar friends.
I'm not sure what you mean, sir.
Godwin shouldn't be giving away what isn't his. But I'll help you if need be, although not on account of that ring.
Sir Kунцlin!
Shimek? What's going on?
Minmaster Vavak is heading here with an armed cohort.
Right now? So be it. This matter must be brought to an end. Shimek, place a gunner on the upper floor and a crossbowman on the stairs. Then gather whoever you can find and join us in the yard.
Certainly, right away, sir.
Henry, we're counting mainly on you. I hope your findings are worth a dozen armed men.
100 at least, sir. You'll see.
I'll help you into your armor, Papa.
But quickly! and then go to your chambers and lock yourself in.
What? I'm going with you.
No. So go to your room, take your precious crossbow, and if things turn out badly, shoot any of Vavark's whoresons who stick their noses through the door. If something were to happen to me, you're the next in line in our family. Don't forget that.
I love you, Papa. God Almighty, hold your protective hand above us.
Greetings, Sir Ruthard. Your gate was open, so I took the opportunity for a little visit.
No gate is closed to you, is it? The gates of hell are especially looking forward to your visit. But you're more than well aware of that, eh? Since you don't dare leave home without a horde of men-at-arms.
My men aren't here to protect me, but to enable me to keep order when needed. And today, I got the feeling that order is just what's needed. Or do you disagree, sir?
Weigh your words, sir. One might take them as threats. And be assured, we're very well prepared today for anyone who might threaten us.
Threat? A warning, more like. A friendly warning from the Royal Mint Master. Lord Ruthard, I'm offering you one last chance to surrender your mining rights to me. If we agree, neither you nor your family will have anything to fear. If not, the king will hear of the serpent you nurse in your bosom. And this time, you'll lose not only your fortress, but also your honor and status.
Enough! Do you think you can insult me in my own home? Do you imagine you could do as you please, just because you have Sigismund's favor? That can easily change when the king learns of the serpent you are nursing in your bosom, to cite your own words, sir. Only, considering what I know, you might lose a little more than your honor. Like your head, for what it's worth.
How dare you?
Henry, kindly inform the Royal Mintmaster what is being said about him.
The word is you're conspiring with Buresh of Krakowitz and Foreman Fett, sir, to falsify the mining records together. In other words, you're stealing the royal silver. And what's more, taking it to a secret mint where you forge your own coin with the royal stamp. And that's a capital crime. What do you suppose Sigismund might do if... when he finds out his own mint master is robbing him? Especially when he's desperate for every last groschen.
I'd say this somewhat alters the perspective, sir. So from now on, you will leave me and my family be. Or your king will hear of your shenanigans.
Exactly. We'll see to that. Mark my words.
Are you trying to threaten the Royal Mint Master again? And with nothing but common slander? You haven't learned much since the last time.
Well, we've not had much time for that. We've been fully occupied with collecting evidence. Isn't that so, Henry?
I've got your account ledgers here with me. The real ones, from Buresh, that prove how you carried out this entire fraud. They make quite interesting reading.
Wait. So, if I understand correctly, the only thing you have to prove your blatant lies are books that you have on you right here?
Of course not. Do you think we're completely stupid? We've got copies here. The original books are safely stashed away under lock and key.
That's right. You're finished, Hermes Trismegistos.
So, do you want to chance your luck? Or come to an agreement?
Captain.
Sir,
This matter is an internal affair of the Crown and my office. I'll resolve it here with these gentlemen in private.
Are you sure, sir?
Yes, damn it! Do what I say! Wait for me by the gate.
Let us step inside. Let's give the Mint Master the privacy he requests.
Gentlemen, I expect you'll keep this entire matter to yourselves. And I expect you'll be wanting something in return.
The executioner's far from here, so I'll be standing in for him today. God knows what kind of man you are. May God have mercy on my soul.
What? You can't just cut down the Royal Mint Master? Wait! We got off on the wrong foot!
I'll give you the wrong foot. Right up your ass.
You're right. I underestimated you. I made a mistake.
You certainly did, sir. A big mistake.
The only question is, how much your mistake is going to cost you.
Don't do anything rash, Kунцлин. I understand you're angry, but he could come in useful.
That's true. Intelligent people can always reach an agreement that benefits everyone, and...
You're right. I'm more than angry. Swear you leave me and my family in peace, and our mining rights will remain untouched.
You have my word. I swear it.
Good. You know what awaits you otherwise. If Martin believes you can be of use to us, I'll leave it to him. I'm not in the mood for this.
Right. You said intelligent people can come to an agreement. So let's see. We need to know what Sigismund's planning.
Spy on the king? You can't ask that of me.
It doesn't sound like you want to come to an agreement.
You can't.
We can, and we will.
This is nothing compared to the punishment you're facing for what you've done. Either you agree to this, or Sigismund learns all about it. Then you'd have to run damn far to avoid the chopping block.
Henry's right, so don't even think about double-crossing us. You've a lot more to lose than we do.
And don't forget about your oath either.
I understand. All right, I'll do as you ask.
Excellent. And now get out of my house.
Of course.
I'll take my leave too, Kунцлин. I've still got some affairs to deal with today. At least I can see our Mint Master out. I'm sure he'll be delighted to tell me many interesting things.
God go with you, Martin. I hope we'll soon meet again in more pleasant circumstances. Ha ha! Now that was a good one. The mighty Mint Master strode in like a lion, and then crawled out like a whipped dog. Oof. I can breathe a lot easier now we've got rid of that bastard. At any rate, Henry, I'll take those incriminating books. I'll hide them in a safe place, just in case he gets any ideas.
Good idea, sir. Here they are.
Thanks, Henry. You did a fine job, and I'll never forget your help.
Well, you can return the favor right away, sir. You promised to help me get into Malashov.
I did, and I'll keep that promise. There's a secret passage leading out of Malashov, and you could avail of it in the opposite direction.
A secret passage? That's a godsend. Von Burgov won't have an inkling.
He won't. It's well hidden. We didn't even know about it ourselves for a long time. Until Rosa discovered it in the fortress one day. She can best explain to you how to find it. She should be in a room. It's up the stairs. You'll see the door on your left.
All right, I'll ask her. Thank you very much, Sir Kунцлин.
Don't thank me yet. The worst of it is still ahead of you.
Nobody will be expecting me. The passageway is an advantage that works on my side. Besides, I've got my spy coat on, which makes me hard to spot. I can deal with any locks, and if I come across anyone, I'll take him out without a sound or a trace.
Well, it looks like you know what you're doing, and that you've done it before. I'll pray for your success. It would help us in more ways than you probably realize.
What do you mean, in more ways?
Isn't it obvious? We've been sitting with our arms folded until now. And where has it got us? We look helpless, and it's difficult to find allies. But if you liberate Lord Capon, right from under von Burgov's nose, the word will spread like wildfire throughout the land, and von Burgov will look like a fool, and he'll lose a strong advantage in parleying. That would help convince some of those who are hesitant about joining us in the fight against Sigismund and the Praguers.
You're right. I hadn't thought of the other consequences. And I reckon even Jobst hasn't realised. Thanks again. As soon as I speak to Rosa, I'll head out right away. I'll get Lord Capon out of Malashov if it's the last thing I do.
You've no lack of courage, son. But you shouldn't count on that alone. Be careful. And good luck. I'll at least look at the books you brought. I'm very curious about what there is on Vavak and how he did it all.
I wish you a pleasant read. There's more than enough on him in there. How did you become a knight?
I paid for it. When Malashov was vacated, I bought that fortress. Well, first I negotiated with King Charles for permission. Then it was entered into the land register as my property, and my house became the Knights of Malashov. There were still some legal requirements surrounding it, but I won't bore you with those. But personally, I'm pleased that in the history of our house, it was me who managed to elevate it to the nobility.
You can simply buy a title? Just like that?
Definitely not just like that. But in a certain manner of speaking, you can, yes. It's not at all such an unusual practice among rich burghers nowadays. In Prague, for example, there used to be the Rokitsan burgher family, and they bought Okorsh. That's a castle 3 times bigger than Malashov. It may also happen that some commoner lends the king a lot of money, and the king doesn't have the coin to pay back the debt. So he resolves it by pledging one of his castles. Nevertheless, the old nobility, such as Vavak von Hradec, don't like it, and they despise us for it. They see us as upstarts without a proper ancient origin. But I think in a few generations, if I ever marry Rosa off, that is, it won't make any difference anymore. We'll be established among the nobility, and all these injustices will be a thing of the past. I pray that my house will endure, and that my descendants will live to see it.
Well, enjoy your well-deserved spurs. May your house endure and prosper. What's the political situation in the city? I mean the politics of support for our side.
All in all, miserable. Bailiff Plymel is also on Sigismund's side, as is his son, who's so corrupt even Vavak could envy him. And I tested the waters among the councillors, but it doesn't look good for us at the moment.
Who sits on the city council?
Wenceslaus Forsucher, Jerome Naz, Franz Rosenthal, and Andrew Polner. They're from the old and rich burgher families, just like us. Martin tried to negotiate some support from them, but, as you may have heard, we didn't manage to win anyone over. They either have their interests connected with Sigismund, like Naz and the others, or they just don't want to commit themselves, so they don't lose their property and status. That's the only thing you can count on them for.
But they don't sit alone on the council. What about the others?
They don't. Then there are the representatives of the guilds. But to be honest, they don't have that much power. At least not for now. Compared to the old houses, the guild masters only quite recently acquired their positions on the council, so they probably won't risk losing them. But you're right that we might find support among them, especially by promising more council seats. The thing is, we're not yet in a position to fulfill such a promise, and they're well aware of that.
And what about Vavak? He sits on the council, and we've got him in our pocket, right?
He does, along with other representatives of the Italian court, and they'll do what he tells them. Except maybe Friedrich Kummel. But that doesn't matter. Vavak is a slimy bastard who'll sink us as soon as he gets the chance. So I'd like to count on him only when absolutely necessary, because as soon as he learns something he could exchange for a pardon from Sigismund for the crimes you've uncovered, he'll use it to untie his hands.
Thank you for filling me in on the local situation.
Well, there wasn't much positive in it. But you're welcome.
And what about the church? Couldn't it be turned around? You can see Sedlet's monastery from the city. The abbot must have some influence, doesn't he?
He does. And his relationship with the city is not the best. First of all, the abbot is burning through his property. The monastery's having financial difficulties, and all it can do is sell off its village properties. And who do you think is buying them up? The Kuttenberg burghers, first and foremost. Then there's a long-standing dispute over the manning of some churches, which goes back as far as I can remember.
Well, then how about promising the abbot support and getting him on our side? Promises cost nothing, right?
Ha ha! I see you're no newcomer to politics. But we hesitated with the abbot, and he decided to throw in his lot with Sigismund. In fact, he's given him accommodation, and is wining and dining him.
It's not like he had a lot of choice.
Oh, he did. A lot is permitted by the law of the church, even refusing access to a monarch.
Sigismund has a whole army behind him. How could the abbot refuse him?
Do you think Sigismund would attack a monastery? All he'd get from it would be a pile of old bones. And it'd tarnish his reputation in half of Europe. No, Sigismund doesn't need the abbot. But the abbot needs him. That's why he made the decision he made.
I'm glad we took care of Vavak without resorting to weapons. They outnumbered us, and they had heavy armor. I'm not really sure we could have held out against them.
If the worst came to the worst, we'd have had to try. We couldn't have backed out. There was too much at stake. But otherwise, I agree with you. We saved the lives of my soldiers, and maybe even our own. Thank goodness for that. After all, I've already fought my hardest battle, and don't need any more like that.
If I may be so bold, can I ask what the hardest battle you mentioned was?
Not long ago, when Sigismund's army besieged Kuttenberg. Back then, I saw things differently than I do today. I'd been advocating parleying instead of armed resistance. I feared, and rightly so, that Sigismund would use it as an excuse to seize property. But I was in the minority, and even my son Venser was convinced of the opposite. We quarreled a lot over that. In the end, he told me that even though I had acquired noble status, my days of glory had faded. He wanted to prove the Knights of Malashov didn't wear spurs just for show, and that we'd earned the armored arm in our crest. When an opportunity arose to strike against the enemy, he rode out, despite me forbidding it. Or maybe because of it.
What happened next?
More importantly, what happened before? Some French knight appeared from God knows where. He said he was a renowned military leader and a personal friend of King Wenceslas, and that it was his sacred duty to defend the city. I no longer know why or how, but he was appointed commander of the city's defense. One of the first things he did was attack the huge trebuchets that were ruining our fortifications. It seems they were poorly defended, and when the Frenchman was putting together a cavalry unit to counterattack, my Venser joined. Only it was a trap, the oldest and most primitive trick, and our renowned French knight let himself get taken in. Of course, Sigismund, or whoever was in command, didn't leave his precious trebuchets unprotected. He had his own cavalry in reserve. When I learned where Venser had gone, I gathered my men and went to his aid. But when we arrived, it was all over. And there was nothing left for us to do but to collect the bodies of the fallen. Venser among them. So, you heard it. My hardest battle was the one in which I didn't even raise my weapon. But I won't make the same mistake a second time. It won't bring Venser back to me. But I'll defend what he tried to defend to my last breath. Our estates, our honor, and above all, our Rosa. God be with you. Leave me alone, Henry.